Okay, guys, so we got several things here for you to look at for this project. Obviously, you have this video of me walking you through the directions, but these directions are also loaded. You've got your template. This is the only thing you're going to submit, as always. You're going to fill this in using the directions, and that's going to be it. And then you also have this thing called credit card payment calculator. So it's called calculator because it has all the formulas worked in. It's actually really cool. What we're going to see here is, again, the purpose of this project is you are going to go on a pretend shopping spree on Amazon. Don't spend the whole time making your cart. When I do this in class, I'm going to give like 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes total, to just like add as much as you can to your cart for whatever you want to on Amazon, and I'll talk that through in just a bit. We're going to pretend that you put all this on a credit card. You just went shopping spree on a credit card, put it all on it, and then we're going to see if you decide to only make the minimum payment on your credit card, how long it would take to pay it off, as well as how much extra you'd pay in the end, making only the minimum payment, versus if you paid a lot more on your credit card. We're going to look at two situations, yeah? If you were able to pay a lot more, how long it would take you to pay it off then. Again, the whole point of this project is going to be showing you what a difference it makes to pay more than the minimum on your credit card if you can. It's going to make a huge difference for how long it takes you to pay them back, obviously, but also it's going to make a huge difference on how much extra interest you have to pay. So let's start with step one. You have 5 to 7 minutes, don't take forever, to go to Amazon and add whatever you'd like to your cart. You don't need, I would recommend if you have an Amazon account, don't sign in, because if you accidentally buy anything, that's on you. Don't click, yes, I'm going to buy this, yeah. So maybe don't sign into your Amazon account, but I'm going to pull it up here. I already have my cart ready to go. I'm going to show you really quickly, though, if you, I only have 2 items just because I'm doing this for an example. Let's go what I want. Let's go jewelry. So I'm going to search whatever I want. If you've never been on Amazon before, I'm just clicking on random stuff. And then right here, you should see an add to cart. When you click on the item, boom. And then depending on the item, it'll ask you for like a insurance or whatever, and then it's add to my cart. Whenever you're done, you'll be able to go to your cart up here in the corner, and you can see everything that's been added to your cart. So take like 5 minutes here, go to Amazon.com, search for whatever you'd like. They have cars on Amazon. Yeah. And then create your cart, and then continue on to the video. The only stipulation is that you need to have above $1,000 for this math to work on this project. So you can see for me, I have above $1,000 as my subtotal because I added a very expensive ring to make this easier. But as long as you're above $1,000, you can be done. If you just want to select a couple items, as long as your balance is above 1,000, that's fine. I've had kids try to get to 1 million before just for fun, but take 5 minutes, come back to the video with your cart all ready to go, and then we're going to go from here. Okay, so again, this is my cart. My balance is above 1,000, which is again what I need. So we're going to go ahead and you're going to record that information on the credit card template. So that is step 2. So let's go to I'm going to go ahead and fill it out as well for me. So my total cost here was $1,603.61. $1,603.61. I only had 3 items because I chose very expensive ones. And then this is just for my own curiosity. I'm just curious what you decided to put. My most expensive item was this ring here, so I'm just going to say the ring and the amount. I don't need to copy this whole thing, but you can. I'm just going to say, oops, diamond ring, and then the amount was $14.99.95. Just because, again, I'm just curious what you decided as your most expensive thing. If you didn't choose anything terribly expensive, maybe your most expensive thing is $20 and you just chose a lot of them. Whatever, I don't care. So that's your first step. Pause the video and fill that in your template, and then we'll come back from here. Okay, so the next step is step 3. So this is situation number 1. we are going to go to the credit card calculator. So you're going to need to go ahead and get that opened up in Sheets. Yes, in Google Sheets. I'm going to give you a lot of the information. So notice this is what you'll see on the calculator. Here is all of the stuff you're going to enter. So I'm going to go ahead and enter it just so I can show you first. And then I'll come back here so you can see what you're entering. So the first thing is your current balance, which means your total from Amazon, right? That's because, again, we are pretending we're putting this on a credit card, and this is going to be the balance we're going to have to pay off. So for me, that was the 1603.61. So 1603.61. Do not put any dollar signs. Do not put any commas or anything. This calculator gets messed up, and it's almost impossible to fix. It's weird if you put in dollar signs or whatever. So just 1603.61. There's my current balance. I'm giving you the interest rate is going to be 17.5%. That's about on the lower end, honestly, for a credit card. But I'm just going to put 17.5, and then, however, here, I am going to put the percent symbol. So type it exactly as we see it here. Minimum percentage of balance is 2%. What this means is that's how much of your balance is paid every minimum payment. Yeah. So 2% of your balance is what you're paying. Plus interest, you want to select yes. Because again, that's actually how your minimum payments are calculated. It's the interest you owe plus a little bit of the balance. Minimum payment for low balance, put $25 because this is more realistic. And again, just 25, don't put the dollar symbol. What that means is if they do the math for your minimum payment and it comes out to be lower than 25, they'll only charge you 25. That's usually how most credit card companies are. If your minimum payment, if the math came out to be $10, they would say, no, your minimum payment's 25. You're going to leave fixed monthly payment blank, and the 0% introductory period, you're saying 0 months. So let me come back here. Leave this blank, and then we can go ahead and say 0 from here, though it's not going to matter. What that means, again, that's the 0% interest. A lot of credit cards, when you open up the credit card, they give you a period of time where you're actually not charged any interest. But we're not looking at that. So that's everything. Couple things I need to point out before you go try it on your own. All of these things here should be the exact same as mine. And what I mean by that is it needs to look identical. 25.00, 2.00%, 17.50%. If you see any of these that do not look identical to mine, it's going to mess up the calculator. It's very finicky. For example, if this just says 2 and not 2.00%, you need to add the 0.00%. Yeah? For some reason, again, it messes it up. So take a moment, go to your calculator, put your current balance here. Again, that was whatever you got off of Amazon. Yeah? Whatever you decided to put for Amazon. And then fill out everything exactly as you see it here. Take a moment to do that. Okay, so what you're going to see once you have that all filled in is a payment schedule. This is going to tell you your monthly payment every single month. Sorry, your minimum monthly payment, I should say, every single month until you have the credit card paid off. They have a little summary right here, and then they have the monthly payment here. Notice that as you pay off the credit card, because your balance is decreasing as you pay it off, your payment decreases, right? Here's all of your payments the minimums again, every single month. You're paying less and less each month if you only pay the minimum, because again, the minimum payment is based off of your balance. So as you pay it off, that's going to change. So what we're going to do from here on our template, we are going to copy over the summary. So it says first monthly payment, last monthly payment, months to pay off / how many years that is, and the total interest paid. So I'm going to show you guys where to find all of this. You're gonna pause the video, find it on your calculator, and then copy it to your template. So first monthly payment is right here at the top. First monthly payment, $55.46. So I'm gonna copy that over. So that's my very first payment that I have to make. The last monthly payment, you need to scroll down in the table to the very bottom. My last monthly payment is $652, and the reason why it's less than 25, if you notice it reaches a point where it's just 25 every month, that's because in that last month, that's just going to be the remainder of my balance. That's just the last bit that's left over. If you have less than $25 in your credit card, obviously that's the caveat. If you have less than $25, they're not going to charge you $25 on your credit card. So $652 is my last payment. Again, feel free to pause the video here if you want to go do that first and then come back before I go on to these next two. But I am going to go ahead and show these next two. Months to pay off / years. This is up top. Months to pay off is right there. So it's 78 months, which is 6.5 years. I'm going to go ahead and put both. 78 months, which is 6.5 years. Yeah. And I can clarify that there. I don't mean 78 months and 6.5 years. 78 months is 6.5 years. So that's how long it would take me to pay off this credit card if I only made the minimum payment. If I made the minimum every single month, 6.5 years to pay this off. And the total interest paid is also there in that summary, $864.93. $864.93. So here is all of the extra I'm having to pay, right? So I want you to take a moment, go to your project template, find that information off of your calculator. Again, here's the first payment. There's the last payment. You have months to pay off and total interest paid. And then once you are filled in up to here, click continue. If you are stuck, either rewatch the video or ask me before you move on. Okay, let's go on to situation number 2. So in the directions here, here's situation number 2. Now, we're going to see what a difference it makes to pay more than the minimum payment. Again, it showed us that it's going to take us 6.5 years. Sorry, it showed me that it'll take me 6.5 years to pay it off. If you have a balance greater than mine, it's going to take a much longer time, right? If your balance is $30,000 or whatever, that could take you like 20, 30, 40 years maybe. A long time. So, we're going to show what a difference it makes to pay more than the minimum. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this little section here that says fixed monthly payment. What that means is we are going to pay the exact same thing every month, not the minimum. Because what we're going to do is we're going to change that to whatever your first monthly payment is from situation number 1. This means that instead of paying the minimum each month, which is going to decrease over time, right? Again, you saw that in the table, the minimum decreases over time. Instead of doing that, you will consistently pay the exact same thing every month until it's paid off. Your payment's not going to change. Because technically, theoretically, if you could afford $55.46 for your first payment, you should be able to keep affording that. There's no reason to decrease your payment if you can afford to keep paying $55.46, or again, whatever your first payment is. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this first payment, whatever yours is. Again, make sure you're using your information, because if not, you're going to get jumbled up. Take whatever your first payment is and pop it here. And then let it go. Notice that when you do that, all of my payments are now that payment. Because again, if I could afford to pay $55.46 for my first payment, I should be able to keep affording that for the whole rest of the life of the loan. So take a moment, pause the video, take whatever your first payment was, pop it here for fixed monthly payment, and then come back. Okay, so now we're going to see that a lot of things changed. we are going to now record the information for situation number 2. So our first monthly payment is $54.46 because, again, that's still our first monthly payment. Our last one, let's scroll down. So my last one was $45.75. Yeah, of course it's a higher payment, but that's just because that's whatever was left over for that month. Notice what a difference. Now it's only 38 months, which is 3.17 years. It's not going to be a coincidence. 38 months, which is 3.17 years. It's not going to be a coincidence, guys. For everybody, actually, I believe it should come out to be 3.17 years. There's a reason for that. It's mathy reason. Your initial time is going to be different, but if you do for situation number 2, I'm pretty sure you should end up with 3.17. If not, it's not that you did it wrong necessarily. It may be that your balance was so high. So that might end up happening though. And the total interest paid is $494.16. So those are my numbers. Go back to your project and fill in with your numbers. I shouldn't have to say this, but if I see this exact project turned in with these exact numbers, you're getting a 0. Yeah. Use your numbers. So take a moment, have all the way up to here filled in. If you're stuck on anything, you have to ask me before you move on. Reach out to me over a reminder in the chat because you need to have all of this filled out for these next questions. Okay, so that is all of the directions here for this document. I'm going to close that out because now we're just going to answer these questions here. So now we're just comparing the two situations. So we're also done with this calculator. I'm going to close it out myself so I can kind of simplify stuff here. So it says how many more months or years, whatever, I guess you can say both, would it take to pay this off in the first situation than the second? So we can see here that it would have taken me 78 months if I had only made the minimum payment. But now it's taking me 38 months. So 78 minus 38, it would take 40 more months. For the years, it was 6.5 years minus 3.17. Let me do that math real quick. 6.5 minus 3.17. So 3.33 years. Again, 40 months is 3.33 years. I don't want you to get confused by that. So that's how much longer it would take if I only made the minimum. It would take a whole 3 more years, 3 and then some, to pay this off. So the second situation is better because it gets paid off sooner, right? Yours, again, if your balance is a lot higher than mine, I didn't have a very high balance, it's going to be a huge difference, maybe decades. Now, number 2, it says fill in the table with the information to compare the total costs in both situations. So, starting total with no interest, that's your Amazon total cost. So you're going to copy that down there. So me, 1603.61. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the actual total I paid because I have to pay interest, right? Unfortunately, this is not how much I'm going to pay because I have to pay interest, right? So for situation number 1 total, you're going to take the 1603, sorry, whatever your number is. Again, don't get confused. You're going to take your total and add together the interest from the first situation. So I'm going to add this number with 1603, so I'm going to do that real quickly. 1603, delete. 0.61 plus the interest from situation number 1, 864.93. And I got 2468.54. So take a moment, go back to your project and do that yourself. Take your Amazon total plus the interest from situation number 1. That's what's going to go right here. And then come back. Okay, so this is what I'm actually paying for these items. For a diamond ring, a Totoro purse, and a very cheap ring is what I got, yeah. I'm going to have to pay extra because I'm putting it on a credit card. Even though this was the actual cost of the items, doesn't matter. You're going to pay more. However, you could pay less in situation number 2. So for situation number 2, you're going to once again take this Amazon total and add this interest. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My Amazon total plus the interest from situation number 2, 494.16. And I got here 2,097.77. Okay, so you can see I paid less here. Again, because I'm making a higher payment. I'm making the exact same payment every single month instead of a decreasing payment. I'm going to pay less in the long run. Yes, I'm having to pay a higher amount each month. But because I will pay it off sooner, I will pay less. So make sure you have filled up to here. If you need to pause the video real quick, you can, but I'm going to go on. The last question says, how much more did you pay in situation number 1 versus situation number 2? How much more means we need to subtract. So you're going to subtract these two numbers here. 2468.54 minus 2097.77. Let me do this math real quick. 2468.54 minus 2097. Okay. So, again, my number is not as shocking because my balance was pretty small. I've had people, and I'm going to do an example in class, where I have like a balance of like $30,000. It makes a huge difference, several $1,000s difference, the higher your balance goes. So, once more, once you have wrapped that up, that's the whole project. You can turn it in. But again, just to sum up, the whole point of this project is to show that if you have a credit card, as much as possible, you want to pay more than the minimum because you're going to save a lot of money in the long run and you're going to pay it off sooner. So again, if you were stuck on anything, obviously you can go back and rewind, but let me know if you have any questions and I can help you out a lot quicker.